I didn't want to forget him. Maybe I didn't want to forget me. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Live and Learn, and today I'm going to review this masterpiece written by Mitch Albom. The name of the book is Tuesdays with Morrie, an old man, a young man, and life's greatest lesson. The quote that I said in starting is said by Mitch himself for his professor. It is a time when he was leaving all of his college classmates, his favorite professor Morrie, about whom this book is about. He was leaving all of them behind, and he was unaware of the thought that what kind of turn the life of his professor is going to take after few years. This book carries a story of a professor named Morrie and a student of his named Mitch, who has written this book in the remembrance of his professor to show the world the value of love, care, and trustworthy relationship in this era. Through this book, Morrie and Mitch, they both wanted to tell the world that life is too short to hold the grudges against the people you love and towards the situations that you have faced in your life. So the foremost quote that I learned and loved a lot about this book is, "When you learn to die, you learn to live." The best quote of this book said by Morrie when he was at the deathbed of his life. So to give you a glimpse of this book, that the short story, what this book is about, who is dying, why he is dying, and what has happened in the life of this professor and the student Mitch. So Morrie was the most loving, generous, supportive, and caring professor of his time, and Mitch was a student at one time of college, and they used to spend a lot of time together, and they had the best time in the university learning new things with each other. His professor Morrie used to teach life lessons to Mitch about what he wants to achieve in life. Mitch used to take guidance from his professor Morrie, but as we all know, time flies. With time, after the end of college, Mitch lost contact with his professor and even with his ex-classmates, and he flew far away from the city to accomplish his dreams, and with the time and with all the hustle bustle of the life, he forgot about his professor totally. One fine day, he got to know about the situation and the condition of his professor, that his professor was suffering from the disease ALS, which means amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, which means it is a brutal, unforgiving illness of neurological system in which a person's neurosystem stops working, all the nerves stop sending signals to the brain, and gradually the body starts losing all the energy and gets paralyzed with time. When Mitch got to know about this severe condition of his professor, his eyes were brimmed with tears and his heart was full of pain, and he didn't take a minute and flew to meet his professor at the very last stage of his life, and those precious moments changed his life forever. All those irrational thoughts of his and about the society, about the relationships he had been carrying throughout his life, changed within few years, a few months while spending with Morrie. Whereas when Morrie got to know that he has only few years or even months left to stay alive, he changed his purpose and he became more sensitive towards the time that he had. He used to spend all of his time with his loved ones, and he started giving his time to the people who really needed him at the time of crisis and who wanted to get mentally healed and share their stories of life with Morrie to get healed and to get the solution about the relationship problems, about the health issues, about the mental health issues, about the society issues, about much more things. So this story about a professor has changed millions of people's of life. So when these two, professor and student, met after a long time, they decided to spend their precious time together and to give the world something that a world can cherish for the longest time. So they came up with the idea of this book, Tuesdays with Morrie, through which they tried to tell the world about the younger generation like us, about the whole society, that how much it is important to spend your time precisely with your loved ones. The foremost quote that this book has given me and helped me to change the perspective is that when a person learns to die, that person learns how to live. Definitely, the core and crux meaning of this quote is that person accepts death and accepts that the harsh truth of life is that one day, eventually, every one of us is going to die, and we have to celebrate those moments of our life, the last stages of our life, with ourselves, with our loved ones, with our colleagues, with our surrounding people, and we have to accept the fact that the body will not remain the same. At the time of your death, your body will decay, your body will get old, you won't be able to stand up by your own, you won't be able to eat by your own. The same happened with Morrie. With time, Morrie was getting sick and his body was losing all the strength within it, and Morrie wasn't even able to handle a spoon, a normal spoon that individual like us takes for granted, that yeah, I can carry this comb, yes, I can carry this lipstick easily. But the same thing for Morrie was getting so difficult that he wasn't even able to go to loo by himself. He always needed a hand, and at one stage of his disease, he wasn't even able to get out of his bed to use the loo. So Morrie told to Mitch that a person who learns to die, learns to live, is to remind all of us that we are going to feel all the pain, all the suffering at the time of death. So we have to accept that reality and start living our life to the fullest. We should cherish all the beautiful memories that we have spent with our loved ones, with our own self, with the environment, and with the nature. And nature in this book carries a lot of major concern that people nowadays have lost the touch with nature. All the social media accounts and everything has gained the power on the human mind, and the human mind has lost the touch, time spending with nature, spending time with themselves, spending time with their thoughts. So Morrie told that love each other or perish, which means start loving each other, start caring for each other, start giving time to each other, and start giving time to your own self. Otherwise, death is the far most better thing rather than living without any love. Love is the foremost important part of our life, as without love today we won't have our loved ones, our parents, our siblings, our grandparents. Then I don't think so surviving will be easy. Surviving on this earth has become easy just because of our loved ones. So that is the message that this book gives, that Morrie gives through this book, is that love each other or perish. There is no meaning of living on this earth without spreading the love that you carries within. The third quote that this book has, that has so much of value and will definitely change a little bit of your thought as well, is that the fact is you are going to die eventually, but hopefully not for a long time. And that is true, that hopefully we all have much time in our lives and we are going to explore so many new things, so many new careers, so many new fields, and we are not even sure what we are going to become in our life. But the main thing that we are sure of is of our choices. The choices that we are going to make today will eventually evolve us into a person that we should become, a more kind, a generous, a loyal and honest person. So Morrie tries to send you a message that we all are going to die one day. So why not we should start cherishing the small moments of our life rather than fighting over the not so worthy things. So that was the third quote that he gave. The fourth quote is that the most important thing in life is to learn how to give out love and let it come in. The next quote also declares the same thing, that whatever love a human being carries within, he should or he must give it to the people and should try to become the best version of themselves, no matter how the other person is treating you or no matter how the other person is making you feel. When you make the other person feel worthy enough, one day it's not sure that the same person will make you feel good. As we all know that the life comes in a circle, so you are not even sure that who is going to make you feel good. You should not make the other person feel unloved. If you want to get loved and if you want to feel loved, then you should also make the other person feel loved. Only then you will be able to live this life happily, because in this life no one, not even a single person, could have survived without the love of the other human soul. So that was the fourth quote, which tried to tell the human being that love more and live more. The next thing that this book told and reminded the human being is that, however, death is not the end of everything. Everything that dies reborns again, as this body we have to leave behind. But this book has also shown that everything that dies eventually reborns. As an individual who lives in denial of death find out that the actual reality of living this life is to accept the reality of death. And however, death is not the end. Everything that dies reborn, as universe has to maintain the balance. If, take an example, if every individual starts dying today gradually and no one is taking born on this earth again ever, and this is the policy that universe has made, that one thing that dies will not reborn and will not take place another time, then the universe and the life on this earth will. Hence, to maintain the balance between life and death, universe keeps us exchanging our souls into another body and into another human being. If a person is dying today, his soul may take change and reborn into the another form. That is called reincarnation, right? So these are the things that Morrie has tried to say to the individual, that whenever your any loved one will reborn again in the different body or in a different form, no matter what kind of soul that was. Besides learning all these beautiful things from this book, that it teaches that life and death are the part of life, and they are the only thing in life, that we born one day and we die one day, and the time between them is the life we live. And this time we have to consume very nicely and properly, so that we can have the great memories of our own and of our and with our loved ones. So that was the thing that I learned from this book. Then the last two quotes that I want to share with you guys from this book is that each night when I go to sleep, I die, and the next morning when I wake up, I am reborn. So, and whenever we wake up again, it feels like we have to rebirth on this earth. So whenever you start losing hope, always remember that there is another day to make yourself more capable and more good human being. Not on a very huge basis, but small little things matter on daily life. The last quote that I want to share is that you have to find what's good, true and beautiful in your life, and cherish the moment of now, as there is no past and no future but only present to focus on, as the only present can give you peace and calmness in your life. So that was it for today's video, and if you learned something new, then kindly like, share and subscribe. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye. Thanks for watching. मन ही नहीं कर रहा अब तो